Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do the collective tarot for today. Today is Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. You may follow me on the Talk, the Tube, the Lemonade, the Blue Sky Social, Pinterest, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Totally. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever does not, just leave it on the table for someone else. You don't need to take on energy that wasn't meant for you, right? We don't want that for you. We do not want that for you. Ever. Intuitive City Oracle, Rob Barthelman. You can find his decks at intuitiveintention.com, My Intuitive Intention on Etsy, and in the TikTok shop. And I want to say like maybe 20 minutes, half an hour before I got on here to do the first video for the collective, he was actually on TikTok doing free reads. That was probably like 5 o'clock my time, so 4 o'clock his time. So he's probably just about now getting done. Because he usually does it for a couple hours and then gets off. I would have gotten on there, but I mean, I was eating my dinner and I was doing other things. I had to post something to TikTok. We got 2 on the table. 1 in reverse. Three on the table, 1 in reverse. 4 on the table, 1 in reverse. We got 5 on the table, 1 in reverse, 1 major. Oh. Okay, we got 6 on the table, 2 majors, and then a card in reverse. We're going to do 2 more shuffles. 7 on the table, 2 major, 1 reverse. 1 last shuffle. Look at this. Oh my God, is this a love reading? The collective was kind of like an unrequited kind of love thing. Now this just feels like a love reading. All right. I didn't look at top of the deck. Temperance. Nothing's jumping out at me though. Oh look, there's my baby. Bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck. It's like bada. We got King of Cups. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I bet you if I asked some of the girls at work if they know what Bad News Bears is, they would have no idea. 4 of Cups. I think like the original movie came out in the 70s. I was born in 80. My dad made me watch that. I watched that all the time. Bad News Bears. We got 9 of Wands. We've got the moon. Okay. I was going to say the world. And then for some reason I was going to say the nun. I mean, maybe. Are you laughing at me? It's okay if you are. I love you anyway. I have to. We've got the Lovers. Queen of Cups. A King and a Queen of Cups. And then we've got this Knight of Wands. Bottom of the deck. Feminine, masculine, take out resonates. It with this King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, it really gives off two people that are supposed to be in this lovers union, this partnership. But I think this I think this King of Cups is procrastinating with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. This person is not ready to settle down, is what it gives. This King of Cups is very independent. Very much with the Four of Cups, it gives off very much for themselves at the moment. It's not really someone that you would typically romanticize being in a lover's connection with. Because you want somebody that is ready to be in a connection, that's ready to share themselves and share of themselves, you know? And this King of Cups is not really giving that off. And whoever this Queen of Cups is with the Knight of Wands, this is someone else that is also independent. The card says adventurous. I don't want to say adventurous like trampy, because it's not that. It's adventurous like this is a Queen of Cups that doesn't mind being alone or living on their own or going out to dinner on their own, going to the movie on their own. Like, this is someone independent, yes, but very comfortable with themselves. And this is someone that likes to get out and do stuff, whether it's by themselves or with a friend. Like, they don't care. Like, they'll get out and go shop for books at the mall by themselves. They'll go look for a dress for a party by themselves. They don't need a girlfriend to go with them. Like, they'll do it on their own. They don't care. So it's like adventurous in a positive way, not in like a possibly negative way or like a sexy time kind of way. Not like that. I felt the need to clarify that. It's kind of funny because with the moon card, it very much is giving me the vibes of like mediator. I know I said none, but I think that was just a funny. They're very much giving me the vibe of like a mediator, like, like when you have a couple going through a divorce and they get a mediator so that they can hash out like how they're going to split things. It kind of gives that vibe, like these two people technically aren't ready to be in a relationship, but this moon is going to be like, okay, let's try and figure out how we can get the two of you to come together. Like, can one of you be less independent? Can one of you be less self-involved? It's just what it's giving to me. And it's kind of, it gives the vibe of this is going to happen. Like, this is going to take place. These two people are coming together, whether they like it or not, and they're just going to have to get over themselves. Like, you're meant to be in this connection. Like, it gives off divinely guided connection. I'm not going to lie. It very much gives off divinely guided connection. You need to get over yourself. You need to come together because this is for the world. Remember when I said I thought it was the world card and then I said the nun? Oh. a nun, and I know there's been a lot in the news. If you haven't noticed, with the, I think it happened in Ireland with the septic tank and the babies and all that jazz. Those kind of stories have been coming out since the beginning of time. um, and sadly, I don't know why people act like they're always surprised that um, religious personnel, I don't know how else to say it, religious leaders, I guess you would say, um, get involved in sexual dynamics, whether they themselves are involved or they get involved in other people's parishioners and followers and things like that. I don't know why people are surprised by that. Um, I remember being in high school history class and reading in a textbook, in a history textbook, mind you, and it wasn't graphic or anything, but they said in there, in this history textbook, that even, like, I think it was like, I don't know, 1200s, 1300s, 1400s, whatever the case, um, in churches, nuns and priests would be sexually active with each other and with others in the community. So I don't know why people today act like they're surprised. Like, do you not know anything about history? Anywho, the nun, okay, the nun figure. Nuns were typically supposed to be the brides of Christ, right? Right? Isn't that what it was? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know everything there is to know about religion. I was baptized Catholic but was non-practicing. I typically considered myself Christian, and now I'm more spiritual than anything. Um, but I believe nuns were supposed to be the brides of Christ. This Queen of Cups might be celibate. They could be a virgin. There's just something about them, like not giving into temptation, whether that, like has been a lifelong thing, or, like the last couple weeks, months, years. Something about being nun like, virtuous, if not a virgin, virgin like. Maybe when these two come together, this King of Cups and this Queen of Cups, maybe the King of Cups is not that happy that this Queen of Cups has been virginal for so long. Not because they think, not, and not because, maybe there, maybe, let me say it like this. Maybe this King of Cups is slightly intimidated by the Queen of Cups, because the Queen of Cups has learned to keep it in their pants and not flaunt it all around the county like possibly the King of Cups has. Listen, I will always say, I don't want a man with a high body count. Like, I don't really consider have myself having a high body count. I really don't. I really don't. For all of my shenanigans, um, like, I really don't have a high body count, and I don't want a man that has a high body count. I'm not gonna lie. Now, that being said, you fall in love with who you fall in love with, which is why I always think it's really unrealistic and a double standard for a man, because this is what we know of men, and you can fight me on this, but typically a man will say, I don't want a woman with a high body count. And I myself will say, I don't want a man with a high body. I don't want a man with a high body count. I don't want a man that has no self control. If you don't have self-control, you're useless. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Again, you fall in love with who you fall in love with. So at the end of the day, you're going to set things aside that you don't necessarily agree with. You're going to overlook them to be in a connection, right? If not this, something else. If not a body count, something else. Um, but it better be worth it, right? I'm not going to set aside my beliefs that my man shouldn't have a high body count. I'm not going to set that aside and then be treated like a piece of garbage in a relationship by some guy that slept with 3,000 women, you know? Like, you're lucky I respect you at all. You're not going to treat me like that. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe this King of Cups is intimidated. Maybe their body count is a little higher than it should be. And they're looking at this Queen of Cups and saying, well, damn, how did, like, you're this age, you're this beautiful. The math ain't mathin'. Like, how have you not, like, how has, you, you know? Whether she's technically a virgin or she's just been celibate or whatever the case may be, somebody might be intimidated by this. I will say this, if you have pure intention, if you have pure love for somebody, there should be no room for intimidation, you know? Like, why would you be intimidated by your better half? Why would you be intimidated by your soulmate? Why would you be intimidated by the person that you believe you want to spend the rest of your life with? If you're intimidated by somebody, it might, I'm not going to lie, it might not be the right connection. It's one thing to stand in awe of somebody, like, this is my wife Tanya, like, she's only ever been with one other person, her deceased ex-husband, and she fell in love with me and I fell in love with her, and I'm the luckiest man or woman alive. It's one thing to be in awe of somebody, and hold them in high esteem, high regard. But it's another thing to be intimidated. Intimidation, it's more of the negative side of it. So, awe, yes, stand in awe of your partner, admire your partner, but don't be intimidated by them. I feel like that's not the connection for you if that's the case. Because you should never feel like somebody's better than you and you can never live up to their standard. You should always feel as though this person holds you in regard because of who you are, and you should want to rise to that standard. Does that make sense? And I mean that positively, not like negatively, not like bitchy, not mean. Like, both people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't be intimidated by my soulmate, and my soulmate shouldn't be intimidated by me. And if you don't want to use the word soulmate, then use whatever word you want, your person. Because again, intimidation implies negativity. It implies something's off. Where when you come together with your person, your actual person, the two of you should be on the same level. There shouldn't be like, you should both be at the same place. That's just my opinion. But that's what this gives off, is like this King of Cups being intimidated by this Queen of Cups. Now, again, you could flip this. You could technically flip it and say the Queen of Cups is intimidated by the King of Cups. Because, again, it's just energy. Masculine energy is a king, feminine energy is a queen. You can switch it around. You can change the dynamic of the story. Women could be intimidated by a man who's more virtuous, like, for an example, like let's say I had 10 partners in my past and I meet the love of my life and they've only had 2. Now I'm intimidated by them. Or am I? Right? Because to me, I wouldn't be intimidated. I'd be like, oh, let me show you a few things. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But you know what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Women can be intimidated by men. Men can be intimidated by women. The thing is it shouldn't even be a thing when you're getting into a relationship. Why would you be intimidated by that person? They should want to build you up and you should want to rise, and vice versa. Just my opinion. Is it anybody else's opinion out there? Anyway, I want to finalize this and get the hell off of here because I got shit to do. I love you, but I got shit to do. Anyways, this connection is supposed to happen, and it's kind of on hold because like one person is procrastinating, one person is okay on their own. Again, one person might be intimidated by the other when they shouldn't be, if that makes sense. And the moon is the mediator. They have to help them hash it all out. It's always the moon. It's always the moon. Why is everything thrown on the moon? Why does everybody hate on the moon, use the moon, abuse the moon? Why? Oh my God. If I see it tonight, I'm giving it a big kiss. I did it yesterday morning when I rode to the beach. When I drove to the beach and I was sitting at the beach waiting for the sunrise. I could see the moon over the water and I was like, I love you. I'm the only crazy person doing that at 4 a.m. in the morning, 5 a.m., whatever it was. All right, I'm going to let it go at that. I hope it resonated for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you found it entertaining. I hope you all have a great day and or evening, wherever you are in this beautiful, beautiful world. I'll talk to you later. Bye.